Software and technology companies have unique reporting and budgeting requirements. In this demo, we'll cover a few of the templates that we see customers commonly employ. As these organizations are typically high growth, there's a lot of emphasis on the top line. So we'll cover B2B subscription waterfalls as well as high volume consumer platform type models. We'll also talk about headcount, hiring, and OpEx. Now, model and adaptive is made up of a set of sheets. In this case, financial statements, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, as well as a set of operational schedules and drivers that cover things like sales, marketing, and so on. I've opened up a set of these across the top that we'll tap through in a minute. But for now, let's get started on the P&L. And here you can see it looks and feels much like Excel. I've got natural accounts down the left-hand side and time across the top. But there are a couple other things going on as well. The green numbers there signal that those are actuals, which have been imported from a transactional system like my ERP, while the black is the forward estimates going forward. There's also versioning. So much like a save as, I can create copies and what ifs, which we'll do in a minute to do some scenario planning. But those are really important because I can then compare them and contrast them for a reporting perspective. There's also an org structure and higher level hierarchy. So right now we're looking at consolidated results at the top level, but we can easily dive down into any part of the business here. This is really important because it lets stakeholders input budget directly and kind of limits the model to just their particular portions. And from here, it works very much like Excel. I can input numbers and write formulas, etc. And now getting beyond the P&L, I've opened up a couple of other sheets here. They get down into some of the operational drivers that are critical. And from a sort of B2C side, we see lots of folks doing lead generation. So these are freemium, premium type models where folks have lead generation and conversion rates and subscribers. And those can be filtered by, in this case, a set of channels or potentially different plans and programs. And these are often underpinned by pretty complicated cohort modelings where folks look at weekly, daily, monthly cohorts of behavior and whether that's retention or renewal rates or transaction, consumption behavior, etc. And then lastly, there's also the B2B subscription waterfall models where folks look at beginning balance for an ARR, ACV, as well as net new, churn, so on and so forth. Okay, now that you have a little bit of feel for some of the templates, let's get into see some of them in action. So we've set up a dashboard here that's going to allow us to flex a scenario. You can see a set of charts across the top, as well as some sheets that we actually embedded directly on here. And what we've set up is basically our 4+8 plan, and then we're going to compare that to a what-if version. So we're going to look at new bookings as well as an OpEx reconciliation and also kind of monitor where we are from a cash perspective. Now, right now, it's not very interesting because we haven't made any changes yet, but let's get into it here. So we'll start here with our top-line bookings drivers. And let's just assume there was a global pandemic in the first quarter and we need to revise guidance down for the forward years. So let's take our growth assumption down and also in particular, maybe our attainment assumptions for our enterprise reps. Guide those down a little bit and spread those out evenly for the remainder of the year. Let me save the changes here. And next, while we're at it, why don't we pop over to a schedule of renewal rates here. And so we've got a set of cohorts that are maybe coming up for renewal later this summer. And, we'll take those down from kind of our normal 95% range down into this sort of 85% target area. Just a bit of conservatism. And lastly, we'll move over to the personnel sheet. And here maybe the story is a little bit more positive. So we'll pull a few of these start dates that we had slotted for the December timeframe and put those into sort of June. So we save all those changes and then scroll up a little bit here, and we can see those impacts reflected on the charts. So in the balance of the year here, our bookings has fallen off. The green line is tailed down below the teal. We can see the impact of the OpEx reconciliation here. The pull forward on the hires has cost us a bit from a payroll perspective primarily. And lastly, we can see our cash, the combination of the renewals and lower bookings and increased expense is tapering off here and kind of plateaus at the 20 million range. So, we may or may not be okay with those changes, but that's a little taste of how scenario planning works in Adaptive. I hope that was helpful, and please reach out to us with any questions.